away from home,
where everyone feels like everybody knows their name.
A city that supports you. We see that with our benefits.
A pension, vacation days, job security.
Being able to be heard.
We feel valued. We feel respected.
Lee Summit is a very progressive city.
It's growing, it's thriving.
We have this drive towards not just doing a job, but doing it with a spirit of excellence.
I had the opportunity to continue to grow, regardless of 30 plus years doing this kind of work.
It's more than just dollars and cents.
We're here really to give back.
Providing a service to better a community.
To go out and serve people.
To be a part of something bigger than yourself. If I would have known what I know now, years ago, I would have been here much sooner.
Every time you turn on a tap, high-quality water is ready. But where does it come from? In Lee Summit, water flows from two trusted sources, the Missouri River and its surrounding aquifer. This water is collected and treated in the cities of Independence and Kansas City. In Independence, the Courtney Bend Water Treatment Plant operates 42 water wells. These wells reach 85 to 125 feet underground, drawing water up from the Missouri River aquifer, an underground water source that naturally filters water through layers of soil and rock. The facility filters, cleans, and softens the water before pumping up to 7.5 million gallons a day to Lee Summit. In Kansas City, the KC Water Treatment Plant draws water from the aquifer and the surface of the Missouri River. It then filters, cleans, and softens the water before pumping up to 25 million gallons per day to Lee Summit. In Lee Summit, Water Utilities controls the flow of these sources into the local system. Advanced software monitors the entire system, including 3 pumping stations and 8 water storage tanks, which maintain the water's pressure as it moves through 639 miles of water mains, carrying it to your home and the homes of more than 100,000 citizens. Water utility staff collect samples from throughout the system and send them for extensive laboratory testing, ensuring your water is safe, meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. When you turn on a tap, you're accessing a vast system spanning hundreds of miles, each foot carefully planned and strategically maintained. A system that leverages innovation to harness nature, turning a vital life source into an ordinary convenience, bringing you safe, reliable, high-quality water 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. To learn more about Lee Summit Water, visit lswater.net.
Traditionally, we think as police officers, those responding to law enforcement needs within the community. But honestly, we are there to serve our citizens, and our citizens do go into crisis. They do have mental health crises, and we're being called to those scenes on a regular basis. In order to help serve those citizens better, we did initiate the Crisis Intervention Team Program. These are officers that are specially trained to de-escalate crisis situations. Recently, we've brought co-responders onto the scene, licensed qualified mental health professionals housed within our police department, and they respond with those officers directly to those scenes where a crisis is occurring so they can interact with that citizen and get them the help they need right there on that scene.
The co-responders are either bachelor or master level in a behavioral health related field. They wear plain clothes, they don't carry weapons or anything like that.
I have a police radio that I listen to all day. Listen for, those key words: mental health, behavioral health, crisis.
There's a lot of officers that just call for me. I have my own radio number.
I also have the ability to self-dispatch to them and say 982 is en route.
Officers en route, 914, Armstrong.
So typically I arrive after they've made it safe. I'll make contact and get kind of the rundown, and then I just kind of jump right in.
Like, hey, my name's Allison. I'm a mental health professional. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to take you to jail or arrest you.
Sometimes all a person needs is a voice, someone neutral, someone outside that, can listen. I do a lot of safety planning, including family, their support network, who's close to you. If they're home alone, who can come over and hang out with you today? Can we lock away your sharps? Can we put up your meds? Do you need meds? Can we get you over to the urgent care to get you assessed for your medications? Some of them also are like, oh, I'm so glad you came. This made me feel so much better.
Our main goal as the co-responders is to, one, get people connected to the services that they need, and also divert from emergency rooms and jails.
And they almost get a different view of the police responding. That lets me know you care and the officers care.
Please, how can we help you?
My husband
In 2020, we had 722 mental health related calls for service. 2022, by that time, 1,479. These mental health related calls for service are increasing. How we're responding to that is increasing the number of crisis intervention team officers we have available, as well as the number of co-responders we have available to respond on these calls.
So what I think is important for the community to know about the co-responder program is that we're here, we exist. All you have to do when you call 911 is ask for us. You know, say, hey, I want a co-responder to respond to this crisis, and we'll go. I was really struggling about 8 years ago on my personal journey with mental health, and I met some amazing social workers and amazing programs that have helped me get to where I am today. I really couldn't see myself doing anything else. We want to help, and that's what we love to do.
So I had a client, we got a call, she had some suicidal ideations, and she really felt that she had nobody. And and getting to know her story and getting to know who comes around and sees you, well, then we found a support person and they responded immediately. And we made a plan. I called back and checked on her in an hour, and then I checked on her in 2 hours. We were able to get her into the additional services to where she talks to someone every week or more. I just took a person that really just thought they had nobody and nobody would show up for them, and show them you do. And you'll be amazed who is in your corner if you just simply say, I need a little help.
Welcome to the Lee Summit Sign Department. We are going to walk you through our process from start to finish. We make signs as needed here. It's not like we just go out into the field and place a speed limit sign here, no parking here. Our traffic engineers, they go through and they'll do field studies. They'll send us down an engineering work order for us to go out, place new signs or remove signs as needed. Coming from the material, our blanks come in and they're just aluminum blanks. We can put our white, our red, our fluorescent yellow, green, whatever. And basically what it looks like is just that there. Throw it up into the roller. And once we got it covered, take it to our work table here, and Tim will cut the corners, cut all the access off to where it's lined up right. As far as the plotter and the software that we use, there's a street name sign there, and he's gonna go ahead and print that out on the plotter so you can see the plotter and how it operates and runs. There's standards for the height, even just on letters on the sign blank. Basically what we have on the computer there is it's pretty much set up to those, and it goes through. It's got a very small but sharp needle that goes through and cuts everything out letter by letter. Once that's done cutting, our next stage would be bringing it over here. Currently picking out the sign letters right now. We call it weeding or picking, or however you want to call it. Next, putting it on the transfer tape. Then after it's taped, we bring it over to the roller. That's where we apply it to the actual sign blank. And we'll roll it through one time just to get the air bubbles out. And the last stage is basically just taking the transfer tape off the front of it. And there's a finished product of street name sign. We'll take you out to the field and show you our process that we go through. We're gonna go out and follow our sign guys and get something installed for you. This is where we check our underground utilities. Tim, you got AT&T?
AT&T's back here.
Evergy, Google, so we should be good to go. We normally put all of our stuff together out in the field. Then once the base is installed, we'll go ahead and put the post in there. We've come up to perfect. that's how we do it. Simple, quick.
Officers en route, 914, armed robbery.
The Legislative and Intergovernmental Relationship Committee meeting for Monday, May 18th, 2026. Could I get a roll call, please?
Chair Carlisle. Vice Chair Funk.
Here.
Councilmember Shields.
Here.
Mayor Lopez.
Here.
Thank you. I know no changes to the agenda. I'd look for a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Acting Chair Funk, I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
I got a motion to approve by Mayor Pro Tem Shields and a second by Mayor Lopez. Can I get a vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Shields.
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Aye.
And Acting Chair Funk.
Aye. Do we have any public comments?
I have not received any public comments.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item 5A, our first order of business, and that is approval of the March 23rd, 2026 Legislative and Intergovernmental Relations Committee action letter. Could I get a motion, please?
Chair Funk, I approve, I move to approve the March 23, 2026 action letter.
I have a motion. I have a second. I got a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Shields and a second by Mayor Lopez. Could I get a vote, please, for the approval of the action letter?
Mayor Pro Tem Shields.
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Aye.
And Acting Chair Funk.
Aye. We will move on to item 5B, 2026-7529 presentation, our lobbyist update. Mr. Head, would you like to kick us off?
Yes, sir. We have John Hensley and Zach Pollock here with us today. As you all know, the legislative session wrapped up on Friday. I think John had sent me a few texts at like 5:40 or something when we were going out of session at 6, or they were going out of session at 6. I asked them to come on and just kind of give us a kind of a brief kind of overview of the session and maybe a few quick hits on some of the items that did pass. I know there's still a lot of, the last minute rush of everything, still trying to see exactly in all instances what exactly passed and what was in everything that passed. I don't know that we have a full accounting of that yet since it's so recent. I did send you out the report from John and Zach earlier this morning. So you do have that in your inboxes now. But with that, I assume, John, since you're the one who's videoed up, you'll be the one who is going to be giving us a quick rundown of what happened.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brian. Good morning, everybody. Happy to be back with you all again. As Brian mentioned, 6 p.m. Friday was the sort of constitutional deadline for the General Assembly to adjourn sine die. I think the House got out of there at about 5 till, working right up until the very last moment. And then the Senate actually went a little bit over, but most of that was due to farewell speeches. So yeah, it's not very common actually that either or both go right up to 6 p.m. But they had they had more of a productive session than I think a lot of people were expecting in the last couple of weeks. The final couple of weeks really were very, very productive. Interestingly, so we were texting Brian late in the day on Friday because it looked like a bill that we've been watching for you all session, and that we were opposing, and that your team had come down to oppose. I think, was it Chris Bussin had come down to oppose this particular bill. It had to do with solid waste management districts, and the original version of that bill was quite different from the heavily and repeatedly revised version of it that was still, sort of sticking around towards the end of session. It was defeated middle of last week, I believe, in House Fiscal Review, and it looked like it might be dead. And then Friday afternoon, after lunch, heading into the afternoon session for the House, learned that House Fiscal had reconsidered that vote, had voted it out, and it looked like that bill might actually have come up for a vote in the House. And I believe it was positioned, if it had gone to the House floor and been unamended, that would have been the TAFP vote for that bill. And it started from a position of let's eliminate all the solid waste management districts and give all of its money to this abandoned landfill abatement fund, basically at DNR. What it wound up as was taking, I think, 10% of a certain funding stream that goes to those districts and giving it to DNR for the purpose of dealing with abandoned landfills, which appears to be a legitimate issue in many places around the state. Obviously, we were arguing that eliminating every solid waste management district and that program basically statewide is probably an overreaction to some problem abandoned landfills. What I think wound up happening was that was the first bill shut out by the close of session. The Senate wound up amending a bill brought by an outgoing rep on a very sort of sympathetic issue that everyone could get behind. They wound up amending that late Friday, so it still had to go back to the House to be voted on again. And I think that was the final bill voted out by the House, that House bill with the amendment. It seems like that bill might have edged this solid waste management district bill out of the way. So that one wound up not getting a vote. Again, we were watching that all session. The other one, probably that we were watching the most for you all this session, had to do with, or originally had to do with municipalities and MoDOT reimbursing utility companies for the cost of relocating their facilities if there was an instance of road work requiring relocation. Again, that one was heavily revised throughout session. At one point, capping the reimbursement amount at, I believe, 2% of total project cost, to making it labor cost only, and then ultimately taking out municipalities and counties so that only MoDOT was on the hook in that case. Became a very different bill. That one also wound up petering out, I think, in April. So that didn't pass either. But both of those bills we were watching a lot. Now on another front, on the budget side, City of Lee Summit had $250,000 placed in House Bill 2019, one of the capital improvement budget bills, for wait, that one is for your canine center. Is that right? 250 for the canine center, tactical and canine. That is still in there. That is in the budget that was delivered to the governor, and he has until June 30th to act on those budget bills, because the state fiscal year rolls over and begins again July 1st. So that 250 is still in there. I think it would be a great idea if the City of Lee Summit and the mayor and the council and as many people as can put together just a brief letter of support for keeping that line item in there. I've shared the line number with Brian earlier today. I believe it's 19.017. And just, pointing out that bill, the great things that'll be done with that money, and encouraging the governor to keep it in House Bill 19 would be a great thing to do. Ideally by the end of this month. That gives him a whole month between possibly receiving the letter and having to act on those bills. It's a good practice. So that's state budget. On the federal side of what we're working on with you all, the one item that you have in the Commerce, Justice, Science budget with the Appropriations Committee in DC, the original ask was, I believe, $1,039,000 for the Communications and Intel Center, and what is currently in the published budget bill for that topic for this item is $772,000. And I think it's 772,700 is what's currently in there. And our understanding, kind of what we've heard from folks who are working on those bills, is that these bills, once they're put together and published, they tend to change very little. So getting into the budget, getting into the bill is a big and important hurdle, but once you're in there, it's very uncommon that those bills change. But we're going to keep watching it and stay in touch. Of course, Congressman Cleaver made that request and got that item put in for Lee Summit, and also Congressman Alford's office, since he's right there in the area and he is on the House Appropriations Committee. He and his office have also been and continued to be very supportive there. So we stay in touch with both of their staffs on a regular basis on this. The air traffic control tower item is in the transportation budget, or it would be in the transportation budget. That budget has not been published yet by the Appropriations Committee. Expect it to be soon. Once it is, of course, we'll go and try to find this item, and we will report to you immediately if and possibly in what amount that item is in the budget. Of course, we don't want to assume or presume too early, but we look forward to them publishing that. The amount requested by Congressman Cleaver for that item was $10.8 million. But again, it's never guaranteed what amount you might be slated to receive from the committee, or if at all. So we will continue watching that one and let you know what we hear and what we see. Overall, there was really no big political subdivision omnibus bill. No, really not even any particularly large political subdivision local government bill that got through all the way. There were several bills on public safety, which should be in your tracker. None of which, as far as we're aware, kind of directly relate to anything that you all have been really focused on. Oh, let's see. Another couple issues. So, regulating, setting up a regulated market for video lottery terminals, for instance, is a huge issue around here. And I know in a lot of communities, it's a topic of great conversation. That bill had a lot of momentum going through and coming out of the House, and just some of the dynamics in the building and the positions certain opponents of that bill happen to hold, kind of kept that one from advancing in the Senate. The outgoing president pro tem of the Senate happens to be a very vocal opponent of of that topic, or of regulating those machines. So she created a new special committee, and appointed herself and a few other people she knew to be really opposed to that bill, to receive the bill, to hear testimony on it, and then several weeks later to unanimously defeat the bill in committee. So she's gone next year. The other former Appropriations Committee chairman, who is a very loud opponent, he'll also be gone next year. So on that particular topic, certainly not a dead issue for next session. And House Minority Leader Ashley Awney, also pointed out in post-session comments that she expects it to come back, if only for the boost it could give on the state revenue side. The projections there were pretty impressive. So could easily see them returning to that issue. Then again, on the House side, it didn't quite sail out of the House, but it had very strong support coming out of the House. Next session, we could see 50 plus new House members. So that's nearly a third of the total membership of the House. So who knows what happens with that much new blood. Also, but something that did pass, the Intoxicating Cannabinoid Act, that relates to certain hemp-derived cannabinoid products, basically just limits in and controls who can sell what and under what circumstances with a certain class of products. That was pretty big news, and that one's already been signed by the governor. And probably the other largest item, certainly the other largest item with the greatest statewide impact, potentially, depending on how an August or November vote could go, was HJR 173 and 174. And those were the House joint resolutions that tee up a public vote to phase out the state income tax. It's still not, I don't think it's been settled yet which ballot the governor might choose to put that on. But that will, of course, be a potentially seismic impact with that bill, not just with phasing out the income tax, but also sort of what happens in the next few chapters if we go that way, of what other changes need to be made to revenue collection and revenue generation and collection to kind of make up, was it a $9 billion hole that would then be created? So big things to come there. Again, no real big political subdivision bills got all the way through. There were bills on sort of real estate taxes, land banks, real estate wholesalers that did get all the way through. A bill with some election, particularly local election rule changes. It's kind of shifting filing periods for declarations of candidacy and kind of other regulatory type provisions that were changed. Publication of notices for certain items, and I think bond elections and other and other notice publications. Progressive design build contracts had a bill get all the way through permitting their use. We've been in touch with Brian, of course, throughout session. This doesn't seem to be a particularly important or impactful item for Lee's Summit, but of course, wanted to make you know or make you aware that one is there. And beyond that, we're watching now. Of course, like I said, June 30th is the governor's deadline on budget items. July 14th is the deadline for him to act on policy bills. So we will stay across that and stay in touch. And once July 14 comes and goes, we'll see what actually is going to make it all the way through and be enacted into law, and we'll provide you with that report at that time.
Thanks, John.
I feel like I just spoke for 20 minutes without taking a breath, but happy to continue conversation and take any questions y'all might have.
Any questions from the committee?
Just John, could you clarify again where we are with the Senate Bill 1586, the one with the solid waste management?
Dead.
Where did that end up?
It didn't pass. It wound up right at the doorstep.
Okay.
That one, like I said, I think if if something had gone a little easier on a different House bill in the Senate and it didn't have to go back through, I think 1586 might have had the floor time at the very end to have been the final one to come up. But
so it got defeated then? It didn't go anywhere?
It just died. It wound up coming out of fiscal review on the House side.
Right.
So it was teed up to be taken up by the House and passed on Friday afternoon, and it just ran out of time.
Well, there was a lot of pressure from a lot of the local people here. Mid-America Regional Council we all signed letters, obviously advocating against it or some kind of modified version.
And I think a lot of that it wasn't SB 1586, but it was the House companion bill by Representative Banderman, may have received the roughest ride of a Republican-sponsored bill in a Republican dominated committee that I've ever seen in that building, particularly by a guy everybody likes.
Wow.
Brad Banderman and Representative Banderman and Senator Ben Brown Representative Banderman's district is within Senator Brown's district. And my understanding in that issue was it started as a very local, like a hyper local, like one guy had an issue with some property he had purchased. And again, a genuine problem. But it was really just that the approach to a fix that they took was so severe. So Representative Banderman's bill had such a tough time in committee. I mean, they never brought it back up for a vote. So seeing that very early in session, it was thought, well, that one's probably dead, and we'll see what happens if Senator Brown's bill makes it over here. My guess is he'll try not to have to go to that same committee. And it just took a while. There was so much discussion even on the Senate side that ate up a lot of time. So my guess is all that pressure that you all applied, really what it did was it resulted in a ton of changes to Senator Brown's bill that took it down to, a tiny fraction of what it started as. From the elimination of all those districts and the sort of rerouting of all those funds to, I think, slicing 10% or something off of those funds, leaving all the districts in place. And there were a dozen kind of intermediate iterations of that bill between what it started as and what it wound up as, with just sort of incremental cuts to what he was trying to do. But yeah, that one died for lack of time. The other one, that facility relocation reimbursement bill, that one again got sliced down so far that even the proponents didn't want to waste the capital of even getting it out of the Senate, let alone trying to push that thing through in the House side. And on that one also, there was a companion bill that had a hearing and didn't go beyond hearing. That one wasn't called up for a vote either. So yeah, like you'll see in our report that we sent today, over 3,100 bills filed this session, and a small fraction of those ever get referred out to a committee. A small fraction of the referred bills ever get a committee vote. So, I mean, stuff gets narrowed down pretty quick. So there were about 100 bills that made it all the way through, and that includes the 17 budget bills. So the 83 policy bills, though, is a vast increase over what we've been seeing in terms of policy bills the last few years out of the General Assembly. So they were real productive, and they were, there are flare-ups all the time, and it's always interesting the last couple of weeks of session to sort of see new hairline fractures appear between different combinations of those 34 senators, particularly. But it all kind of stuck together more or less, and they had a really productive last couple of weeks right up until the very last minute.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr. Mayor. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions, Councilmember Shields? Mayor Pro Tem Shields. I'll get it right, just like
Don't
the
worry.
mayor.
Yeah, I got it right now.
So you mentioned some different funds that hopefully may be coming to the city and some things we could do to advocate for that. Who will be putting together those letters? Should we be doing that individually, or Mr. Head, would you be putting something together for a council to all sign on to advocate like for that canine facility, or what should we be doing right now?
My intention, and I haven't written the email yet, was to email the city manager and the police chief about putting together some facts. I don't know the facts about what the facility exactly is going to do and all of the benefits, and we could put that together. And then I had anticipated trying to put something together to let the city manager and the mayor chat with about how they wanted to get that out. And I was going to try to probably have that done on Thursday when they meet. That's kind of the inside baseball on getting that process done. But I was going to reach out to Travis Forbes just to make sure that we had appropriate detail in the letter, because I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay, no, that sounds great.
Sorry to interrupt. We'd be happy to take a look and share perspective before that letter's finalized and sent as well.
Yep.
Okay, that all sounds great. I just want to make sure that that I'm not dropping the ball on something that I should be doing. So I appreciate you following up on that. And not really particular questions at this point. Just I appreciate the kind of continued work to bring funds into Lee Summit, whether it's for things like the K9 facility or transportation funding or infrastructure funding generally. That's I think there's definitely a return on investment for the work that we've been doing to advocate for these things. So I think it's important that we keep that up, and I appreciate the efforts this year. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, as Mayor Pro Tem Shields said, that thank you guys for what you're doing. I do, John, or for you and Zach, have you guys heard anything on the federal level in regards to a request for the Little Blue River funding project? And I can get you more details. It was a short notice email that I got. I can get some more details and get it sent over to you guys.
Yeah, I don't think I'm aware of that situation. I don't know what that is.
Mr. Head, do you know on that from Michael Park over at Public Works? I think the work that needs to be done is exceeding what was originally put out, and there's a funding request up for that.
Yeah, I know just about that much about it. Is about all I know. But we can absolutely make sure that connection gets made. I'll make a note to email Michael about that and see if there's any kind of legislative help that might work on that.
Yeah, please keep us looped or get us looped on that if there's something we can do.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining us and providing the update. I'm glad you're doing all the hard work. Zach's probably down for his nap or something here this time of day.
Zach talks to more people every morning before I wake up than I talk to all day. I'm pretty sure. Zach's got a nephew competing in the state golf tournament this week, and he's
if
very.
it could ever stop raining, they'd
there's
get
Zach.
started.
Hey, Zach.
Yes, I heard that.
I didn't know you were on. Well, hey, I didn't even know you were on.
No problem.
Did you hear the nice things I said about you? And I didn't even know you were on here.
Yes. Thank you so very much. I'll pay you later.
Absolutely.
We were just making sure you were paying attention.
Yes, sir.
No, thank you guys, and we'll look forward to the next update. I'll work with Brian to get you over the information on that Little Blue River request.
Okay, Zach, did you have anything to add? Really sorry. I
thought you did a fantastic job.
Oh man, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic job.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 6. Any roundtable from the committee?
I have to admit, this is my chair. This is like the only legislative and intergovernmental relations committee meeting I've ever attended. Ironically, in this fashion, in all 8 years, I've never been on this committee. So
good, welcome.
Good stuff.
Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, one, I just want to say, I think this is a really good update. Like I said, I love seeing our advocacy for funding to come through with projects that might not be possible without these efforts to work at the state and federal level. I know to kind of cross committees here, I know we're having kind of some tough budget conversations right now, but I think today's meeting kind of shows just how important it is that we keep our efforts to do our advocacy at the state and federal level, that we keep going on that. So I know that there are going to be some tough budget choices about whether to continue to do those full lobbying services that we've been paying for, but I think it definitely is a big return that we see when some of these projects come together. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
No, that's awesome. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Shields. You're exactly right. If we get a portion of the communications for the Joint Operations Facility and $250K for the canine facility, that 60-70 grand has given us a nice return on investment, I would say. Any roundtable from staff?
I don't have anything.
Okay. We will adjourn at 12:02. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
We'll have to see when the next meeting will be based upon now that it's going to change. We'll have to talk with the chairman, so we don't have a next meeting to give you. So,
is everybody good with the afternoons, 11:30 meetings? Mayor, are you good with this time?
Yeah, this works.
I don't think I'm going to be on this committee going forward, but I have to actually look at my notes for what the appointments are being made tomorrow. So
the assignments, the assignments that are in the packet are Chair Funk, Sherry Frazier as Vice Chair, Melody Atkins, and Mayor Lopez with an alternate Trish Carlisle.
Yeah, and Chair Funk, the city clerk should have sent you a message about two options of how to work on scheduling future meetings. So
yes,
just so
that was my next step. I thought I would be
proactive,
correct, and wait till after the meeting tomorrow before I started that process. But I will do that. Having the mayor on the line, if you're good with an 11:30, this one hits pretty good for everybody, I think.
This would work if we can do it this way.
Okay. Well, with all that said, again, we'll now adjourn at 12:03.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.